Good morning, Chasm listeners. John Maile here, Minister of the Stearns Conservation District. Fall is here. A light frost was spotted across the county here and there this past week. We woke up to temperatures, uh, hovering around 40 degrees, depending where you were. Especially in the lower spots, they were down into the upper 30s. You can see the leaves are starting to change on some of the trees. Harvest, I noticed corn is starting to get chopped, silage and so forth is being made. Fall is definitely here. Kids are back to school. Personally, it's one of my most favorite times of year. I enjoy that. And a lot of us Minnesotans love to get out and start enjoying the outdoors again. The temperatures allow us to maybe start doing some of that work. And one of the things that we do a lot of in the fall is start addressing our lawns and our trees and things like that. So I want to just touch on a little bit about, as you maybe heard already, I mentioned emerald ash borer. Emerald ash borer is pretty much across the county now. There are definitely some areas that are very, very bad. There's some places that's not quite set in, but it's pretty much prevalent here and there throughout the whole county. So this is when you start thinking about what am I going to do with my ash tree that has emerald ash borer? What am I going to replace it with? Well, first of all, what does it look like? Well, if you see an ash tree already that it just has dead branches high up in it, you have maybe some new suckers coming out of the base of the tree or down by the main trunk, but the branches are dead, and especially if you see kind of a white scaly look from the woodpeckers scratching back the bark and going for the insects, that's a classic example of emerald ash borer. If you are just starting to see, and you say your backyard green ash, and you notice a branch turned yellow, maybe middle of the growing season in July, in August it really turned yellow, or the leaves completely fall off a fairly sizable branch up high. Again, that's probably a pretty good indication that you have emerald ash borer. Once in a while, you can have some damage from the trees or to the trees from our storms over the summer, but ash trees are pretty hardy trees, and usually don't have too much storm damage. So, anyways, starting to think about, let's say you have a farm grove or a shelter belt or a windbreak that you say, oh boy, three, four, five trees already are doing that. I need to replace them with something. Think about our tree sales coming up this winter. You know, late fall, that'll get rolled out. And think about it. Now, those are seedlings, fairly small trees, but think about diversifying your shelter belt, your shade trees in the backyard. Don't plant all the same trees. Again, put some oaks, put some maples, maybe you want a few pine, maybe a few spruce, some basswood. You want to mix it up, and I also suggest maybe not even planting all the same trees in the same row. Maybe you want to go a basswood, a maple, a pine, a spruce, an oak. Really switch it up a little bit. That's the biggest thing. So when the next bug comes in 20, 30 years from now, it doesn't go through your farm grove, your shelter bed, your woods, your shade trees in your backyard and take them all out again. I see many, many rows and rows of green ash. And that just gives the emerald ash borer, the beetle, the perfect opportunity to go from tree to tree to tree to tree. So again, fall is here. Fall activities are here. There's going to be a lot of busy roads. We got farm machinery on the road. We got fishermen, hunting is in full swing. A lot of people like to get back out on the lakes again on beautiful fall days. Just really start thinking about that. If you're out there cutting wood and dropping down some of the big green ash, make sure you're being careful with doing that. But again, think about what you're going to plant next year if you want to replace them. And come on into the office and we can give you a list, or jump on our website and take a look at our list of trees, and we will gladly give you a hand and point in the right direction of what to replace your green ash with. Thank you. Again, this is John Miley with your conservation report, and we'll be catching up with you later.